Let's start with Samuel Coleridge-Taylor's Ballade in A minor, which was a new piece to me. And I'd love to know how that piece came to your attention, how you discovered it. Let me start with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about it. I've actually still never heard Samuel Coleridge-Taylor's music live. It'll be my first time in California hearing his music live. I discovered him not too long ago, about a year ago, just on the internet. I heard this piece, the Ballade, and I was fascinated by it. I couldn't believe I didn't hear about this composer before, and it got me interested in knowing more about his music and about his life. And it's a very interesting story. I'll just keep it brief, but Coleridge-Taylor was born in 1875. He lived not too long, unfortunately. He passed away in 1912, so age 37, kind of like Mozart, a short life. He was born to a British mother and an African father from Sierra Leone, raised by a single mother, not with a lot of money in London, and ended up having a very successful career. He was hugely influential and specifically influential on American composers. He did several tours in the US and ended up being a huge influence for African American composers specifically. They really were inspired by his use of African folk music, which he ended up incorporating in his symphonic work and other pieces as well. And unfortunately, after his death, his popularity kind of went down again as music became more 20th century, more modern, more atonal. And I'm hoping that there is a resurgence, which I feel there kind of is starting to be a resurgence of his music. And I think it deserves to be heard a lot more than it is today. The piece specifically that we'll be doing, the Ballade in A minor, this piece is really the piece that launched his career. It was his first big hit, so to speak. He wrote it when he was young, just 1 year out of his music studies. And it's funny, we actually have Elgar to thank for this piece. There was this music festival in Britain, and they asked Elgar to write a piece specifically for the festival, but he was busy. He was writing actually the Enigma variations at the time, so he declined. But he said he urged them to ask this new young composer, Coleridge-Taylor, instead. And thankfully, they listened to Elgar, and the piece he wrote for this festival is the Ballade in A minor. And I think you can hear why it launched his career. It's only like a 10-minute piece, but it is such a fantastic work. It is fun, it is joyful, it has a middle section that has a love theme that to me is as good as Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet love theme. It is at least as good as that, and just a really, really fun and successful piece and joyful. And I'm just so excited to bring it to Marin.
Let's shift gears to talking about Jennifer Higdon's Viola Concerto, which I know was a piece that was new to you as it is to all of us, I think.
Mhm.
Um, and I thought it might be interesting to talk about your process in getting to know this work and learning it, preparing to conduct a new piece that, well, a piece that's brand new to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I always love working with new pieces and pieces by living composers. So this piece was written in 2015 and written by Jennifer Higdon, who is, of course, a living composer. And one of the things I love is that when I'm studying a piece like Brahms or Beethoven, I always imagine how great it would be if I could pick up the phone and call them and ask them a question or two. But with this situation, when you do a piece by a living composer, you actually can. And our timing is funny. I'm actually talking with Jennifer tomorrow morning. That'll be the first time I've talked with her. And, I have tons of questions and I'm so excited to hear what she has to say. So that's a huge part of my preparation is to hear from the composer herself. Then in addition to that, there is a recording. It was actually recorded at my alma mater, which is Curtis, by the Curtis Orchestra. And there is a recording, not of that performance, that was the premiere, but there's a studio performance recorded. So that's a great resource. But when you have a new piece, there might only be one recording or sometimes none. But the important thing is that it's only one resource. I really want us to have our own performance, our own interpretation. So a large part of my studying is really just having the score on my desk. Sometimes I play it at the piano to kind of learn what it sounds like. And, once I get to Marin, it'll also be a collaboration with Jenny Douglass, the principal violist who will be premiering or performing the piece with us. And, I really hope that our goal is really to have our own unique interpretation and performance of this piece. And it's one of the things I love about new music is that it's, most people don't know it yet. And this piece specifically, I think, is really fun. I think there's a reason it won a Grammy. It's just a super phenomenal piece and really joyful. And Jennifer herself has said that, the viola is often associated with this kind of melancholic quality. But this piece is really the joyful part of the viola, high notes, fast notes, and really joyful melodies. So I'm super excited about that.